Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Monday, March 2nd, 2026 Trading Trends with John Salama. Let's get into it. A lot obviously happened over the weekend with the Iran strikes. Let us get into what really, it was an interesting tape, of course. I will get into, they changed the YouTube, so things are all over the place now a little bit. We'll get into really the mean reversion. We'll get through the intraday tape and everything that matters here. On the day here, this is really at the end of the day what really is going on in a multiple sigma. 3 sigma moves lower when the world gets a little bit unstable. Anything of lesser quality goes first. So you're seeing bonds, especially in the emerging markets, gets absolutely smoked, and high yield getting smoked as investors demand more for their risk. So really right now, the moves that held, I'm not talking about the moves from 9:35 till 9:40 and stuff like that. I'm talking about till right now, 1:03 p.m. Eastern time. Really significant still down moves here, and we'll take a look at the price action. Bonds smoked really, and then U.S. dollar getting a nice bid here. We're gonna look at some instruments we usually don't look at here, honestly, on the program. The U.S. dollar, getting back to its safe haven mark today. Really good jump today on the dollar as claiming the world safe haven currency. And oil, a big jump. We'll see how long it's been lasting, but a new 52-week high for oil. And here we go. New all-time highs for energy, gold miners, the industrials really are doing a lot of lifting, look great. The low vol stocks, the basket of that looks great as investors still have money to put into the market. And they want some AI proof things in addition, just low vol. And when you have geopolitical issues like this, and ITA, aerospace, and defense, of course, that is going higher. All right, so let us get through first the intraday tape. Let me see here. That's me. I'll go dashboard panel. They slowed things down here on YouTube. All right, you should be seeing. All right, so right here live, we'll get to SPY at 15 bips. NVIDIA up 3%. Good to see. Palantir up 7%. Of course, geopolitical issues, stocks like that go higher. As we just showed, the aerospace and defense itself. Microsoft up 2%. They are on software. We'll take a look at the IGV having one of the best weeks off of the bounce, off of that 52-week low. Silver, an ugly reversal down 6%. Everyone was, if you were long metals and oil after the strikes in the Middle East, folks thought the metals were going to go straight up, and silver, they've really hammered it down 6%. I got into the gold miner juniors on Friday. They've also went lower, and gold itself is just holding barely up 70 bips. So again, we're going to talk about this on the bonds moves, the actual trades that are still, firming their trends, not reversals like this, where really investors showed their true colors. XLE, a big move up 1.3%, of course, on the Strait of Hormuz, being closed potentially for how long oil goes up with less supply. Netflix up 1%, AMD down 1.5%, Google down 1.5%. All right, let's get to the intraday. So again, everyone's so bearish and all that. So here was the 4 a.m. Really, it was ugly, and I was always wondering what the important thing is at 9:30, what they're going to do once actual liquidity and market dynamics come in. I said they're probably going to buy it, and probably, perversely, the market will go positive on this. That's what everyone was basically thinking. And look, all day, massive strength. VWAP, you absolutely got it. We opened 9:30, the bell right around 679. VWAP then was 681, and I was tracking it here as I bought Shield today, a turtle breakout system move, bought SHLD today. I think it's one of the charts we'll look at. And look at this, just higher lows, higher highs here. And then I was actually looking at this right here. I said the test is going to be, I think it's going to be magnetized today right around 687. The question is, does it go through that? And if it does, it could get to 690. And that's exactly what's been going on, holding VWAP, rising. It's starting to lose a little momentum here, but I still think it looks really good. I think there's a good chance we'll see 688 and positive across all four indices into the afternoon. To be honest, as I zoom out here, same thing, especially with the reversal today. Market tells me nothing different about this amazing cement-like wall of support here, right around the 672 level. It got down to about 677 today. I still truly think, again, one of two things for the S&P for SPY here. It's got to hold above 688. That's just, serving back and forth. That's just step one. And then after that, should we close above 698? And everything's telling me this still looks good to go here, especially if they bought it. We're about to reclaim 50 RSI. I'm getting to know, who wears the pants here, buyers or sellers, who is in control. And this could be, if we priced a geopolitical, tension like this very quickly in just a couple of hours, that's amazing market dynamics at work I would like to see play. In terms of the technicals, and we talked about this in South Korea, I said, look out for a move multiple percent lower. And trust me, I'm suffering in it today. Most CTAs are, down about 1% or so. Absolute. And the indices are, up 15 bips. But the point I was saying was that now South Korea is down, meaning reverting very hard. The SPY to me looks like if it closes above 698, we still are headed to right around 703 or so. So I think it would get another percent on top of the highs struck from January 29th. We would go another percent higher just due to FOMO, and then I think maybe a little bit more of a entry into a slight tranquility, almost like what we were having, into January. So the things for me for SPY look great. I know it sounds crazy to say with what's going on, but I do still think we will have new all-time highs in less than 2 weeks. Don't forget everything that we said: software eating the world, a war, all these things going on. Look at the block layoff numbers, etc. How anecdotal you think things may or may not be. All that being said, we are 1.5% away from new all-time highs in the SPY, and you got the industrials looking absolutely great. And I think Dow is setting up too. But anyways, let us get into what is actually really, truly moving today, and for real moves that actually are still holding. Not an ugly reversal in silver, a 10-minute trade. No. And again, most of these tickers today, there is a lot of macro things. This is not going to be the typical show where we're looking at, I don't know, so uranium or something like that. Not that that's not macro, but you know what I mean. So right here, first dollar, a big move today, up 85 bits. I'm looking at the UUP. You've seen this thing be a dog. It had a nice surge into the dollar from mid-October right up until around December, around that Fed meeting, and then boom, fell out, bottomed in the end of January. They've really, when they sell this thing off, they really get it oversold. It's having 3 separate issues this year. It's been a dog all year. It is getting now ugly candle today. They took it as high as 27.39. It's off 8 cents from that. It's holding VWAP by 2 cents. A big move. I would like to see it. We'll see if it goes a little higher. But I do think this has been trying to make a move off of these lows back from this. Like I said, the lows on January 27th. I see it really basing here around the 26.80 level just a couple of weeks ago, and that's when this move really started, about 50 cents ago, or about 1.5%. I do think it gets somewhat magnetized, getting a little bit rejected here from 27.39. Let's see how the afternoon goes over the next 3 hours. I think it'll go higher. And I do think it'll be magnetized to those 27 half area, 27, it's 17 cents away, so very narrow, inside of 80 bips. And then I do think it'll get rejected. But you are seeing some strengthening here, and this is supportive to the indices. It's been above 50 RSI, I'll give you credit, since February 18th. So that's, nearly 2 weeks of strength here since putting in that floor at a 27 handle. So that's the dollar. No real derivatives plays or anything like that around this, but do understand that'll put a lid on metals should this continue to rally, in a typical environment. But it's a big move today. You're one of the big multiple sigma movers of 85 bips if you really focus in on look at these candles. And also this has a 13-cent ATR. This thing's moved up to 23 cents today. A massive move, hence your multiple sigma mover. Next one, and this is direct, of course. A lot of these are going to be direct cause and effect from the strikes over the weekend. Oil right here up 4.8%. Take a look at the candle. That is a new 52-week high. It had really struggled before to really emphatically put a bit above 83.30, and you get that when you have a move like today in a geopolitical event, up 4.7%. This was a toss-up in the turtle system actually on Friday's breakout, but I wanted to anchor closer to the gold miner juniors, and it was the wrong trade now with the benefit of hindsight, because this was your massive chase higher. But all that being said, USO fully targeted, in my opinion, is right around 84, 85. So it's looked very good for the past 2-3 weeks, especially when you've gotten, it really started back here in the January 22nd, to me, is where the beginning of it was. And then when you got above $75 here, look at the RSI as well. Oil has been bid above 50 RSI since January 8th. That's almost all of 2026. A really nice move in the oils, of course, today. Outside Bollinger Band, you haven't had that occurrence in about a month. Typically doesn't happen for more than 4 or 5 days in a row. We don't know how long this is going to be. When there's some kind of ceasefire or anything like that, I do expect oil to drop, USO here, to about that $79 level. So I do think it'll be a quick $6 give back when this mean reverts. It'll probably still hold that 50 RSI, and overall still looks good structurally. There's a commodities bid everywhere. Typically, it's for metals that are on the periodic element of table of elements that, if you drop on your foot, it's a good big ouchie. But this looks like when it's done, it's going to go to 79, maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, whenever this does, this conflict does end. Again, VWAP on the day, 86.71. It's not holding that here. So a little bit of that risk premium coming out already out of oil. Okie dokie. Other thing that they're buying, only very few areas as of right now. It's probably more by 4 o'clock. But the Shield, I bought this here on new all-time highs. There is a bearish divergence, I will say. I don't like a 60 RSI. Sometimes that's the battles when you have a system. My CMT self argues with the turtle breakout system self, but the idea is that you want to be following the system. You don't want to have right and wrong. Sometimes in technical analysis, it's all probabilities immediately in my head. And right here, I'm saying, in my head, this looks like it can immediately get back to 83. And that's kind of what it looks like here. But overall, the ETF is amazing. This looks like gold. They haven't even thought about thinking about selling this. Overbought for several periods, for weeks on end. They let it go a little bit under 50 RSI recently, but overall above a 40 RSI going back to essentially Thanksgiving week. I bought it today. I'm happy to own it. I do think it, then I'll get out with a small loss should the momentum break and it'd be more than a trend change. The ATR is about a 185. So if it moves against you, just inside of $4, get out. This does look like it could have a little bit of a rug pull to $74. Again, expect some quick movers if we do get some sort of a ceasefire. Iran wants to de-escalate, anything like that significantly. You're going to see mean reversions in oil and in Shield. So I'll be, watching this one. This one looks like it could go back to, $74 pretty quickly. But so far, last thing on this, on the candle, 77.28 is VWAP on the day. I think I got in close to that this morning. Got in about 10 a.m., right around that level, I believe, and it's not holding it right here. So we will see how this develops for the rest of the day. Now, more instruments we usually don't look at here. They are hammering this. This is really the losers today. I know 4 indices out of 4 are green here in the States. They are absolutely hammering emerging market bonds. So this is a very widely traded ETF for this. It just peaked 52-week highs February 23rd, just last week, about $98. Again, this is emerging market bonds. Price goes down, yields go up, investors demand a lot more. This space has looked absolutely stellar, honestly, really good since, I would say, mid-June. Overbought several times, been a really, really decent area for risk and return, to be honest. And I know Gunlock recommends this. Emerging market bonds is a really fine place to be and get pretty high yield. As we see here, so it's down 85 bips on the day. I'm on the watch here for VWAP. It's 96.66. They've reclaimed it. It looks like things were a little bit overdone. Overall, I want this to cool. I think they hammered it a little bit too much here. This rarely gets super beat down. It's at a 45 RSI. First time that low in about a month. Let this take time to cool off here. I wouldn't mind. Again, this is a slow mover, so I'm not going to do this for a turtle system. This has like a 30-cent ATR on a $96 stock, but this is more about macro. I personally would let the dust settle on this, similar to what we said on jets. It turned out to be the right call with airlines getting hammered today. Obviously, as oil goes up, cruise liners, airlines are some of the worst hit because they have to pay so much more immediately. This looks like it needs dust to settle off here time. I'd rather see this correct in time instead of price, to be honest. I think it did that part already, but I like setups if it's there in under 2 weeks, under 97 quarter, as the target is pretty much 98. Again, this is a fixed income thing with about a 5% dividend yield, 4.9. So that's why you're essentially getting it. They hammered it today, though. Investors demanded more today when the world gets a little bit more unstable. And here it is right here at home. So EMB is all kinds of international emerging market bonds. Look at this. This is high yield, and this is important for what's going on here at home. HYG peaked, and this has tons of volume. An important test today. September 23rd is when this group peaked, just about a month or so before the NASDAQ. And look at this. It's under a rising 200 moving average for the first time since June. And essentially today it tested, a 5-month low. It's essentially been range bound. Again, the 200 moving average is at 80.48. It is underneath that, albeit by 12 cents. And view up on the day is 80 quarter. It's reclaimed that ugliest RSI, lowest point it's been since essentially being oversold early to mid-October, a couple of weeks after its highs. So not good here for HYG. It's what we're saying, folks. Companies with a lot of debt are getting dumped today. Investors are not fans of that in this moment in time. I thought a short-term floor for this would honestly be right here, 80.35, which is where the cursor is. But instead, it looks like that's where the ceiling is for the day. So see how this holds. It looks like high yield's having a little bit of a rediscovery, repricing moment like it did back at the beginning of summer. So always a little bit of a concern. It really never got that hot here. Just above 50 RSI for, a little bit of a meerkat here. Got to 55 RSI and then went lower. Overall, the check and money flow, the institutional orders in that 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock hour have been really constructive since December. So they never really let it go, and they do get their orders filled by the end of the day. But this thing looks absolutely crap in terms of relative strength, risk adjusted, even as it cranks higher. So all that being said, I like a floor of 80, but sit this one out for about 2 weeks. I like setups under 80, 85. And I do think the target does head back to 81. But today, not the flavor for this. And again, I told you, not the typical interims we're looking for here. This has been a bond, not a blonde bloodbath. That would be weird. A bond bloodbath. Say that 5 times fast. Short-term government bonds here. This is down 50 bips. That is a major move. Look at this, from 52-week highs all the way to support in one session. And this is short-term bonds. So when they say the markets are volatile, this is kind of what they're talking about. So that's a huge move here in just a day, down to 50 bips. Like I said, this is about a 3 sigma mover, I believe. Similar to what I said, I'm not going to kick a dead horse on this. Let this one cool out for about 2 weeks. I do ultimately like setups under 59. I do think the 200 moving average will hold. Let's see if what we just saw, that 1 day pop under for HYG, let's see if it shows up in a higher quality, like the U.S. government, let's say, instead of, I don't know, Junkie Carvana or whatever is in the basket that demands debt now in HYG at a top, tranche levels. So again, here, right down the 200 moving average, rising 58.70. And again, VWAP, it is not holding on the day. And wow, again, in short-term bonds, it was peaked just several short days ago. All right, top 3 gainers of the past 5 days. Here we go. And this is part of the pain trade for me higher, unfortunately, is Ethereum. It's number 1. In the past 5 days, we were waiting. When is this going to rebound? I wrote about it last week in Market Mosaic, saying this thing's like the whipping boy every time when it's risk off. Ethereum's the first one. Well, guess what? Top of the honor roll this week. The past 5 days. I know it's Monday. So this is up to the minute, plus the other 4 sessions. And right here, so I'll be very honest, I had for a dead cat bounce here, I'm checking my notes, I got extended just because of how weak it is. Technical analysis really is all just placing probabilities on a fat person on treadmill. You see how low they're going to sink and then how high they're going to go up, and then you time it. You see how high they're going to go. You can't get it quite, but it's all probability display. And that's really what we're doing here, whether it be Ethereum, sugar, or fat person on treadmill. There it is. And I have a CMT discipline. So here's the thing. So the low here, essentially for me, was right around. I look for a rising RSI where it tries to put in a floor after being oversold, which was essentially right here. I'll try to do this quick because we have a couple other instruments to go through. It was the 13th. I was looking for a peak right around the 28th-ish of February, and it moved towards $19 for a dead cat bounce. What we did get instead was right around $15.5 to $16, which is where we are here. It's at $15.37. I am short due to the ATR that I have. My stop level is about $15.87. Should Ethereum get to $15.87 through ETHA, I am out. I'm respecting the stop because that's what a good turtle does. And to be frank, on a wide ATR like this, which is $1.04 on a $15 stock, a lot can be just noise, and then there's actual trend change. So I'm going to respect the stop in junk like this, junk being that it's been under a 200-day moving average since mid-January. That's how I qualify that. And the same thing under 50 RSI since that. So just there's no bid. We are getting longer in the terms of how long I thought this was going to go. I said February 28th to get to that that point. Now, why I picked that $19 target before was it was a 21-day exponential moving average. Now it's caught up essentially. The 21-day exponential is 16 quarter, which we've gotten very close to. The ceiling today was 1579. 1521, it's holding VWAP here by 1%. It's up nearly 6%, a big move for Ethereum, up 11% over the past 5 days. So it's absolutely, trouncing on that 2% a day, garnering strength here. I suspect my stop may be taken out soon. Is a small initial position, but it's allowed me to have, to own the other positions, right? That sure, it's not really doing a ton. And I have a decent entry. So that is Ethereum. I think it's going to hit its head. Like I said, once it gets to around 16 quarter, I think that will be it, and it will roll over. To be frank, again, the Ethereum on ETHA, the 200-day moving average stopped going up and is now rolling over by about 2 cents a day. Algos don't look for strength in things like that. That doesn't garner more capital flow like into industrials and the other thing, energy, things are hitting highs right now. This is on the other side for a little bit longer. So that's Ethereum. I'm expecting to hit ahead. Let's go into the next one. The next best performing ETF for the past 5 days is IBIT. So they're absolutely gobbling crypto. Is it the time maybe that these things gather a bid? Gold goes up and geopolitical distress and things like that. Is it finally crypto's time? I'm not going to go back to the note of when I said dead cat bounce in IBIT, but we'll get forward right now to where we see this hitting. We had before the level for ETHA, which is why I think I'm going to get just taken out on my stop, and then maybe we'll re-enter as a short, but unlikely. Here, I'm looking for a tag of right around 40.30. Today got to 39.77, just inside. I see this maybe having a little bit more. It's still sub 45 RSI. Let's not get cute and curve fit. It is still sub 50 RSI since mid-January, under 200 moving average since November 12th, for goodness sakes. Just very, very ultimately weak, but things don't stay weak forever, right? All that being said, this has been, I don't want to say a monster rally by any stretch, but I mean, this started back on February 5th, almost a month ago at $35. Here, I'm looking honestly for a bit of a tag to $40 and around 30 cents. I think and then it rolls over. I am not expecting new lows or anything like that. I do think it starts to go still lower. I don't think investors are in love with it yet, but it is up the second best ETF of the past 5 days, up all inside of % a day, and today trouncing that trend as well. And again, we've been saying Bitcoin is like a software stock. Guess what's the third best traded of the past week? I don't want to make this the correlated show, but they're only buying a couple things in the past 5 days to the upside, and it's IGV. So also corresponding and resembling a dead cat bounce on the 52-week low that it just had on the 24th. This just happened at $76, a quick 10% bump. We're talking about a 7.5% jump in the past 5 days, above average move today, up 1.6 with everything that's been going on. My level here for when I'm signaling exhaustion due to the price actions a little bit higher for this. Nice looking candle today as well. It's holding VWAP by about 80 cents, bold. I think this is going to be magnetized similar to today's intraday reversal. This looks similar in that I am waiting for this to tag, frankly, $84, 84.5. I don't think it gets close to this exuberance that it had experienced on February 10th. I don't think that happens. I think it gets to around right where my cursor is here. Again, just through probabilities, that is a hell of a reversal coming from 77 to 84, and then I think investors will flush into that perceived strength. Quickly, loser of the past 5 days. Your number one loser, I'm glad I got stopped out of this. What was Solar? Solar down 6.5%. Today it's up 2%. But it's the worst spot to be in over the past 5 days is Solar, down 1.5%. Is it a reversal of the trend change now? Down 2%. It is still sub 50 RSI, but it had been hot. Again, 52-week highs just on the 18th. Give this one, I like the group. It's been kicking butt in relative strength versus SPY since July, and great flows also since the beginning of November. Look for this one to base. They didn't flush it as low as $52. That would have been a gift if you were able to pick that up there. But I like entries under 57. I think it'll exist for a couple days, another day or two. And then I am still angling here another target towards about $62 or new 52-week highs for Solar. I know it seems crazy, but that is what it seems like. Give it time to base here, and then probably those highs in late March or even maybe earlier April for TAN. But I kind of even like, maybe I'll look at selling the 52 puts. That seems attractive to me. Selling the Again, this is the worst ETF of the past week. Number 2, worst is KWEB. This was a toss-up here on a sale. This one creeps lower and lower. 20 RSI. A dog, honestly, really a dog since mid-January here. Is KWEB or Chinese tech down 5% over the past 5 days, average of 1% a day. Today, confirming that move lower, down 1.4. This thing has no bottom. I mean, I wish I was sure. It's outside the lower Bollinger Band here. Its 200-day moving average has started to go lower. This hasn't sniffed 50 RSI or the 200-day moving average since January 29th. Decent looking candle today. 3044 is VWAP. It's holding that, thankfully down 1%. This has to base somewhat soon, and then I do expect a dead cat bounce, similar to what you just saw in crypto, honestly, and IGV. This should move to 33 even. It'll probably be like kind of like a face ripper, and then I think they're going to sell into it. So a couple of trades there that stand out. You know, if you believe the 30, what was this, the floor today? If you believe the 30, I mean, you'll get paid for this. I think it's 20 RSI, so sellers are in control. Possibly you could sell a 30 by the 29 against it, see what that generates. I'll look up some of these. Options lately have just not been worth the squeeze. I've been so entangled with the turtles, and it's been doing well. These just don't have the same seduction to me anymore. But you could say because the VIX is climbing, so you get paid more to sell options. And then lastly, home construction down 4% over the past 5 days. Today, a bigger move, down 2.5%. Give this one about this week to base. There's kind of structural support, to be honest, here at the 104, short term, $104, right where my cursor is there. And then your better holding supports the 200-day moving average rising at 102 even. This thing looks like a little bit, I don't want to say free fall because you do have a backstop there at 102. I do believe it'll hold, but give this week to stabilize. They may want to visit it to down to 102 due to the extreme weakness today. Rates are ripping, like I said, selling off bonds, so this doesn't help the home construction group when rates are ripping. And then afterwards, I do think it'll have a bounce to about the 108 level in the coming 3 weeks. All right, top 3 trades of the past 5 days. Have you been long ETHA? I have not. I've been on the opposite side. And long IBIT and long IGV. Congrats. Those are the 3 best trades in the market for the past 5 days. All reversals, all under 200 moving averages. We will see you on Wednesday. Peace.